Oh, this weather is crazy right now. You never know what to expect. We've been in a drought down here, but we're beginning to get some rain. Hi, glad you're here. Come on in, have a seat. We'll talk a spell. I was thinking what y'all might like to hear about this morning. I thought I'd go back a ways. Give you a little life experience story. Go back to when we went down to the farm in Lafayette. I learned a couple of life lessons back then. One of them, Dad, for my birthday or Christmas, I forget which, probably birthday, was in February. He bought me an axe, my own personal axe. And I don't mean a hatchet and called it an axe. I'm talking it was a small axe that he bought me that I could cut trees down with. As a matter of fact, I cut a bunch down and built my first fort all by myself. I'd hack trees up. Probably wouldn't do it now. I'm much more conservation than I did then, but I built my first fort out of small pine trees, probably 3 or 4 inches around. Anyway, we had a storm come through, knocked down a big tree down in the pasture. Dad let me go with him one day. We went down there. We were going to cut it up. We were going to limb it up to start with, and then he was going to he and Papa or something were going to cut it up with a crosscut saw. Didn't have chainsaws. We didn't. I don't know if gas chainsaws were introduced then. I don't know when Steel invented the thing for the loggers, but you did things with a crosscut saw back then. 2 men, one on each end, pulled the saw. You didn't push it. You pulled it. You got into that rhythm of cutting, and that's how you cut the wood up. Well, anyway, we were gonna limb it up. And I got in amongst the small branches, because like I said, I wasn't but about 5, 6 years old. And I was hacking off little limbs and chopping. And Dad said, "Boy, get out of that tree. I got to take this limb off." Now, it kind of ticked me off because I was having fun hacking off them branches. Well, I pitched a little bit of a fit. When I say pitched, I mean pitched. I pitched my axe out of that tree while I was climbing through. Dad made sure that I didn't ever do that again. That was probably the second whipping I ever got. I got one when I was 3. That's another story. But anyway, I got that one. I learned not to pitch any fits. The second lesson I learned, one day Dad comes out one morning bright and early. He said, "Boy, get in the truck. I'm going up to the garage." So we take off up to the garage. And Dad had, by this time, we'd been there for a year or so, Dad had sold the garage and the property in Rossville, and he was wanted to go by, I don't know what he was doing. I didn't inquire. You didn't ask about adult business. But anyway, we're at the garage, and the guy he sold it to, don't know what they were talking about. Don't know what was said, except I heard him call Dad a liar. And the next thing I know, he's skidding across that floor on his butt. Daddy had punched him. We got in the truck, back towards Lafayette we went. We're going down the road. Hadn't been much said. Like I said, I had no idea what transpired or why. I knew what the outcome was. And Dad turns to me and says, "Boy, you always got to remember, You don't have to fight all the battles in the world. It's best not to. He said, but there comes a time you don't have any choice. You've got to cover the ground you stand on. Now, 5 or 6 years old, I probably didn't know what that meant. But as I grew up and learned and moved older, I learned that you don't start a fight. You don't fight unless you have to. But there does come a time, especially when somebody says something about you personally or does something about it, you don't have any choice. So I over time learned what Dad meant by you've got to cover the ground you stand on. Another incident that I really liked. 5 years old, my Uncle JC came down to visit one time, and he took me on my first squirrel hunt. I'm 5 years old and I'm in the woods hunting. Now, I didn't know this was my first time. We picked us a spot to sit down, kind of, we didn't build a blind or anything, but we kind of sat on some stumps or logs kind of behind an area out of the way overlooking this hickory grove. When I say grove, I don't know how many trees there, but there were several hickory trees and had plenty of nuts. And of course, the squirrels were coming all the time. I remember Uncle Jay took, he got 3 or 4 squirrels. We took them back. That was my first time of hunting and killing anything. I didn't do it. I just was there, learned to be quiet, because JC would tell me, boy, you got to be quiet now. And I hushed, which is difficult for me. I talk all the time and make noise constantly. But anyway, I learned to be quiet when you're hunting. JC killed a couple of squirrels, took them back, skinned them. Mama cooked them bad boys, and fried squirrel is wonderful. She'd put them bad boys in a pan, fry them up. She'd put her whatever flour, whatever she did to make them. Throw them in that iron skillet. You could hear them sizzling. Then she'd take the drippings out off of them squirrels and make gravy. And I'm telling you, squirrel gravy, fried squirrel, mashed potatoes and green beans and cornbread. Never sat down to the table we didn't have cornbread. That was some of the best eating, y'all, I'm telling you. I don't hunt anymore. One, I got a little old, but I had an epiphany about that. I quit hunting a long time ago. I'll tell you, that's another story. We'll get around to that one of these days. But listen, y'all, thanks for listening. If you liked it, come on back and join us again. I'm going to be out here on the porch telling a story every week. Like to have y'all come and sit with us. Give us a tap. You can go to our website. You'll find the address, how to get to the website, on the bottom of the video. Come by and see us. If you hadn't seen all the stories, they're listed. Some of our other videos on pottery making. That's what we do here. We make pottery. Until next week, y'all, I'll see y'all later. Come on back when you get a chance. Have a good day.